Very good morning, children. Welcome to lesson Challenges in Improving Agriculture Products, and we are in session 3, right? So already, now let's come to the new topic, that is root nodules in legume plants. You know well about this legume plants. Legume plants means what is the special feature of these plants? Yeah. So when we observe their root system, over the roots we can find some ball-like structures, and we call this a balls as root nodules, right? And in these root nodules we can find what? We can find some bacteria, and this bacteria can be called as rhizobium or rhizobium leguminosarum, and which has the capacity to absorb atmospheric nitrogen or a free nitrogen and converts that into nitrogen compounds like nitrites and nitrates and supply them to the soil. Good. Okay, and here, so when the microbes in the nodules use some nitrogen and some by the plant itself. So whenever we are growing this legume plants, see this rhizobium use some nitrogen, and the plant, whatever the legume plant we are using, like beans or peas or groundnut, so that plant also use some amount of nitrogen. Okay, but when it is harvested, the crop is harvested. Harvested means it is cut down. Then the root system will be still present inside the soil. Got it? So over the roots we can find the root nodules, and that's why, so from the plant and also from the root nodules, so whatever the nitrogen we can find in them, all this nitrogen will be supplied to the soil. Got it? So in this way, by using this legume plants, what we can do means we can make the soil rich in nitrogen. Okay, so for example, when we take this legume crop, so it gives about 50 to 150 kgs of nitrogen per hectare. Hectare means what? That is around 2.5 acres. 2.5 acres of land can be called as a hectare, right? So when we are growing a legume crop in a hectare, so from that crop we get how much amount of nitrogen means 50 to 150 kgs of nitrogen. That means here the amount of nitrogen supplied by the plant depends upon the type of legume plant we are growing. Okay, that means here in groundnut we can find some amount. From groundnut we get some amount, and from peas some amount, like this. Green grams some other amount, like this. Okay, that's why the minimum 50 kgs and the maximum 150 kgs of nitrogen we can get, right? And nowadays even bacterial culture is also available. Have you seen this picture? So what is this means? This is a bacterial culture, and this bacterial can be mixed up. It can be mixed up with the seeds. Whatever crop we are growing, the seeds have to be mixed up with this bacterial culture, and then we need to sow them in the soil. So that what means? That means we can develop more root nodules on the roots. Correct. So whenever we get more root nodules, then what means? Then automatically we get more bacteria, and so that we get more nitrogen. Got it? So in this way, by using this bacterial culture, so we can increase the number of root nodules over the roots. Okay, not only this bacterial culture, nowadays there's a blue-green algae culture. Blue-green algae culture. Have you seen this? Yeah, this is blue-green algae culture. Even this is also available. This can be applied to non-legume plants. Non-leguminous means the plants which don't have a root nodules, especially so rice. Rice is a grass plant. It is a non-leguminous, right? So for such a non-leguminous crops, we can use which culture means this blue-green algae culture. Got it? So here, if a legume crop is rotated with the cereal crop, crop rotation. Say for example, we grown one cereal crop, and then one again legume crop like this. Then what happens? See, this legume will replenish the nitrogen taken up by cereal crop. Already we discussed when any crop is growing in the soil, that crop will use up some amount of salts from the soil. So by the next season, the amount of salts will become what? Will become same or less or more? Will become less. Okay. But whatever the salts that are used up by the crop, those salts will be replenished. When means when we rotate that cereal crop with the legume crop. Got it? Okay. So in this way, with this crop rotation method also, we can make the soil rich with this nitrogen. That means by rotating this non-leguminous crops with the legume crops. Okay. But here, by using these crops, there is one disadvantage. What is this means? By using this, we can only add a nitrogen to the soil. Nitrogen. But what are the macronutrients? What are the three macronutrients? Yeah, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. But here, there's a phosphorus and potassium nutrients cannot be added to the soil. Okay. So for that, we must go for other methods like chemical fertilizers like this. Got it? So by using this root nodules in legume plants, which element we can add to the soil means only nitrogen. Got it? But see, this potassium and phosphorus cannot be added. Got it, children? Yeah. Now let's go to the next topic. So organic manure, organic. Nowadays wherever you go, there we can find this word that is organic, organic, organic. Have you seen this Bhishma movie? Bhishma. Even this Bhishma movie is also based on this organic farming, organic manure like this, right? Okay, nowadays, in the people, the conscious about their health has been increased. Okay, that's why most of the people are growing, even in Abhiruchi channel, we can find one program that is Perete Ruchulu. Have you seen that? Yeah, in that program, see, we can find that some people are developing this garden that means at the top of their home, and they develop different types of crops like vegetable crops and the next fruit yielding crops like this by using natural methods. Okay, so that we can get the vegetables and the fruits without any chemicals, and that is possible by using what? By using this organic manure, right? So actually, this organic manure is produced by decaying plant and animal waste. What are these plant and animal waste? These are biological materials, natural substances. Correct. They are a part of nature. So from the plant we get waste materials like plant leaves, flowers, then small branches, stem, roots. All these things are said to be plant products. Okay, and in the same way, from animals we get what? Animal dead body, then dung, then urine, all these things. These are all said to be the animal products. So from these two, by using these two materials and by decomposing these two, we can get what? We can get organic material. And what is the use of this organic material? Means by this organic material, we can supply more nutrients to the soil. That means whatever the nutrients that are needed to the soil, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium, all these things, all these nutrients can be supplied in more quantities. And what's the next one? Make the soil fertile. Make the soil fertile. Fertile means what? When the soil is rich with all these nutrients, then we call that as a fertile. Okay, and when there are no nutrients, then we call that as a unfertile soil or a barren soil, right? And even there is one more. What is that? That is water holding capacity increases in the soil. The soil can hold or can absorb more amounts of water. That means there will be no wastage of water. Correct? So by using this organic matter, we have all these advantages. What are they? The first one, more nutrients can be supplied to the soil, and we can make the soil fertile, and even the water holding capacity of the soil increases, right? And when we take this organic manures, these manures are of two types, right? How many? These are two types. What are they? The first one, this is a concentrated organic manure, and the second one, that is a macro organic manure. Correct. So these are the two types. Okay, and these two types of organic manures can be prepared with naturally available substances. Okay, that means only from plant and animal materials we can prepare them. Okay, now let's see with what substances we can prepare this concentrated organic manure. Means we can prepare them by using the substances. We can prepare by using groundnut, say groundnut, and the next gingerly. Have you seen this picture? Gingerly. We call them as a nulu. Okay, then castor. What is a castor? We call them as a, have you seen this picture? Seeds. These are castor seeds. And see, if you observe this plant, yeah, have you seen this plant? Yeah. So what do you call this plant? It's amadam, right? Okay, then coconut, then neem, vapa, then jatoba. Even in Telugu also, we call this as a jatoba. Have you seen this? Yeah, jatoba seed, right? So from all these plants, we can collect the seeds, and from these seeds, we need to prepare a powder, right? And this powder can be used as a manure. Got it? And even this can be used as a fodder. Fodder means what? Fodder means a food for the cattle and also poultry. Cattle and poultry. Poultry means what? That means chicks and hens. Got it? And by using this jatoba, actually jatoba seeds are used for another purpose. What is that? Yeah, from these seeds we can prepare biodiesel, right? Okay, now the government is trying to use this more and more biodiesel. Got it? Okay. So it's about concentrated organic manure. And now let's come to the second one. There is a macro organic manure. Right? So by using to prepare this macro organic manure, we need what? We need this animal excreta. Animal excreta means especially say this dung, then urine like this, and then compost. Compost means, that means decomposed matter, and the next deep litter. Litter means, have you seen this picture? Here, this is a poultry farm, and in a poultry farm, all these chicks, they release the waste, and that waste can be called as a deep litter, right? So, by using these substances, we can prepare this organic manure, and that can be called as a macro organic manure, right? But when we observe these two, which is having a more nutrient value, means this is a concentrated organic manure. This concentrated organic manure is rich in nutrients. Okay, so here see, you can find this. Okay, and dry organic manure. Dry means what? Without any moisture, without any wetness. Okay, and how we can make this means by mixing a cow dung, the next hay and urine, a little bit of urine, right? So hay, what is meant by hay? Hay means a dried grass. Dried grass can be called as a hay, right? So here we can find actually when you observe these fields, that means now and then while you are coming to this procedure or going to this RTPP, in the fields you may find that some shepherds, they're rearing or they are keeping their animals in fields. Have you seen large number of sheep or a goat are kept in the fields for a few days? Have you seen that? Why? What is that purpose? Yeah, by keeping the animals in the fields, what they do? That means they eat the plant materials and they release their waste materials. Okay, and all these waste materials are added to the soil, and so that that becomes a manure. Okay, that's the reason why they maintain these animals in the fields, right? So when we take this goat manure, in that goat manure we can find how many kgs of nitrogen means 5 to 7 here, 5 to 7, and phosphorus 4 to 7, and potassium 3 to 4 kgs per ton. When we take 1 ton of goat manure, so this is a composition of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. In the same way, we can also find other manures, like say this dry compost, the next dry organic manure, the next neem powder, and even this vermicompost. Vermicompost means, yeah, the manure which can be prepared with this earthworms. You know, in your textbook there is one annexure. In annexure also we can find this, right? Okay, so it's about this organic manure, right? Clear? Now, what's the next topic? Means green manure crops. Green manure crops. So here, now and then, we can find that, say for example, one farmer wants to grow this rice crop in his field. But before he grow this rice, what he do means he grow some leguminous crop. Some leguminous crop. That means the crop which can grow faster. That means within 1 month to 1.5 months, which can be grown to maximum height. Such varieties can be selected. Okay. Now the farmer will grow this leguminous crop, and once the crop grows to sufficient height, then what they do means they plough the entire field. Ploughing means dunatum. So because of this what means all the plants are released from the soil. They come out of the soil. Okay, and some will be over the soil and some will be under the soil. Okay, now what they do means they keep them as it is. They keep them as it is. So that what means, see, all this plant material gets decomposed. As it is a leguminous crop, what means nitrogen will be added, and that way, because of this decomposition, the remaining nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, then calcium, magnesium, boron, zinc, all these elements are also added to the soil. Correct? Okay, and that one can be called as a green manure. What do you call that kind of manure? Means green manure, and such crops can be called as a green manure crops. So here some crops are grown and can be ploughed back into the soil, right? Okay, and here what are the examples for this? So which crops can be used as a green manure crops? Means here the first one, barseem. Yeah, can you see this picture? Yeah, this is barseem, and the next kulthi, then sun hemp, then lobia, right? Lobia, and this green ram. So these are the plants which can be used as green manure crops. Okay, and by them we can prepare a manure. What do you call that? Green manure. Yeah. Okay, here if the total weight of a green manure in a field is 8 to 25 tons per hectare, then from that we get how much amount of nitrogen? Means 70 to 90 kgs. 70 to 90 kgs of nitrogen can be added, right? And farmers who have no sufficient time for making green manure, so you know it is a time consuming process. That means it takes around 2 minutes to complete the whole process. So in such case they can use a green leaf manure. Green leaf manure. Here instead of the complete plant, what we use means we use only leaves. We use the leaves, and for this purpose we can select any kind of plant. Okay, but a green manure crop, for that there is a condition. What is that? The plant should be leguminous. But here to prepare this green leaf manure, there is no condition. We can use any kind of plant leaves, right? So here we can find the name of the crop and the next the nitrogen, the amount of nitrogen supplied by those plants, right? So that's lobia, beans, and the next danger, then kulti, green ram, sun hemp, the next horse ram, right? So when we take all these things from which crop we get more amount of nitrogen, see that's a horse ram. Horse ram means, we call them as a horse ram. Horse ram means they can be used as a fodder for this horses, for the horses. Ulavalu, we call them as in Telugu, right? Ulavalu, right? Okay. Then the next thing, soil testing. Soil testing. Actually, before we start growing any crop, what we have to do means, being as a responsible farmer, first we have to test our soil. We have to test our soil. That means in the older days, when we take this villages, in the villages we can find this experienced, well-experienced farmers. That means from their childhood days, that means even till their death, they get going on doing this agriculture. Correct. So they get much more experience in agriculture. They know well about this agriculture. So these experienced farmers, what they do means, by observing color of the soil, and the texture. Texture means how the soil is, whether the soil is smooth or soft, or it's gummy, or it is a little bit with stones or with the sand, like this. By observing all these things, what they do means, they will select. Okay, they will select the crop. Which crop is suitable to grow in that crop, like this. Okay, this all comes by experience. Okay, but nowadays, the farmers, they don't have a sufficient experience. Okay, that's why it is better to go for the soil testing. Nowadays, agricultural officers and soil testing technologists suggest what to do. So what is the duty of this agriculture officers and also this soil testing technologists means? They can take the function or the function of this experienced farmers. Whatever this experienced farmers do, that duty can be done by this agricultural officers or the soil testing technologists. Right? Have you heard about this word? That is Bhusara Pariksha Kendram. Bhusara Pariksha Kendram, or we call that as a soil testing center. Even the soil testing center is available in a Pridtur, in a market yard, right? Okay, so soil testing center. So what is the duty of this? Means the soil testing center, from these centers, these officers, they come and they collect some soil samples from our fields, and they test the fertility levels of the soil. Fertility levels. That means fertility levels means whether the soil is fertile and how far the soil is fertile, whether it is less fertile or more fertile or no fertility at all, like this. Okay, and after the completion of this testing, they give the report. And now and then you may undergo this blood test. Okay, blood test or urine test, like this, and after testing you will get one report. Have you seen? So with the help of that report, the doctor will confirm what is your actual problem, and then they start the treatment. In the same way, after testing the soil, they send the report, and with the help of that report, we can come to get to complete knowledge about our soil. That means which nutrient is less in our soil and which is more. Okay, so accordingly, which crop is suitable to grow and which crop we should not grow. Okay, and which kind of fertilizer we have to use, and that to be how much amount of fertilizer we have to use. In this way, we get the complete knowledge. About our field. Okay, so what is the use of this report means? With the help of this, we can select a crop type, which crop we need to select, and the next which manure we have to supply, and then which fertilizer which a chemical fertilizer we can use, and also it's a quantity. That means for 1 hectare, how much amount of chemical fertilizer we have to use, like this. Got it? Okay. So whenever we follow the instructions and the advices given by this soil testing center, okay, then what happens? Then automatically we can prevent the wastage, and we can minimize the investment. Okay, but without doing all these things, if you start agriculture, whatever the crop we like, then what happens? Then that leads to complete wastage of time, money, and also this energy. Got it? Okay, that's why before we start agriculture, we must go for this. Got it? Right? So that's easy of this soil testing, right? And the next topic, that is Panchagavya. Panchagavya. Pancha means not it's a cloth, but panch. What is mean by panch? Panch means a fine. Gavya. So it is also a kind of a fertilizer, and this fertilizer, natural fertilizer, and it is prepared with the help of 5 components. 5 components, and all these 5 components belong to one animal. What is that? That is a cow. So it is completely made from animal products. Okay, and which substances we need means, say this milk, then a curd, then a ghee, dung, and urine. Have you seen this picture? Say here we can find the cow, and from the cow, whatever the things like the milk, then a curd, ghee, dung, urine. From these substances, we can prepare this Panchagavya. Okay, firstly what we have to do means, so first we have to take this dung and ghee, and we have to mix them well, and we have to settle them for the 4 days. And on our 5th day, what we have to do means, to that mixture, we have to add next components like urine, milk, and say this milk. Okay, milk and curd. Got it? So here it's not urine, it's a curd, right? So, and for this we must also add this kallu. You know, kallu means in some villages, some people, now have you seen this palm trees, tati chetlu, right? So from these trees we get some milk like a substance, milk like liquid. Have you seen? That is called as a palm toddy, tartikallu, right? So even we can add this tartikallu, and the next coconut water, and the next sugarcane juice, and then this banana paste. So these are the plant materials. Okay, but in the beginning we added only this animal products, and now we are adding plant products, like say there's a kallu, then it's a coconut water, then sugarcane juice, and then a banana juice. You know, when we take all these liquids, even these liquids are very, very good for our health, right? Okay, so and then what I have to do, by adding all these things, we need to settle them for the 10 days. And even during this 10 days, what I have to do means, in the morning and the evening, we need to stir the mixture. Stirring means we need to mix that. We have to mix that for some time, right? Morning one time and evening one time. And now, so after 10 days, it is ready for the use. And you know, this is only a manure that is available in a liquid form. It is in a liquid form. Okay, but remaining manures are in a solid form, but this is in a liquid form. So we can spray this over the field or a crop, right? And 3% is sufficient for the high yielding. 3% means, say for example, where we are taking 1 liter of water, and for that 1 liter, so 30 ml of this Panchagavya is sufficient. Okay, directly no need to spray this Panchagavya, but you know why means, it is in a highly concentrated form. Okay, that's why first we have to dilute that. We have to dilute that. Okay, how much is sufficient? Only 3% is sufficient. Okay, and even this can be used as a food for the poultry. There is a hen, and even in fisheries. Fisheries means in culturing of fishes, right? Okay, it's about this Panchagavya. And next one, this organic farming. Organic farming means actually when we use this chemical fertilizers like urea, phosphate, sulfate, like this. So they give a good results only for 20 to 30 years. 20 to 30 years, and after that the soil becomes reluctant. Reluctant means it cannot use that chemicals. Okay, so that the plants cannot grow in such fields, right? If the soil health is proper, then only the soil responds to fertilizers. When a soil is in a good healthy condition, then only the soil can use the fertilizers. But when we use this chemical fertilizers more than 20 or 30 years, then what means? Soil health damages. Soil health damages, and so that soil cannot use this fertilizers. Okay, that's why even though you add fertilizers, it becomes useless. It becomes useless. So long-term yielding of soil depends upon what? Depends upon two things. The first one, that is availability of nutrients. So if the soil has to give good yieldings for a long time, so it depends on two things. What's the first one? Availability of nutrients in the soil. That means which nutrients are present and in which quantity they are present, like this. And even what's the next one? Physical, chemical and biological characters of a soil. Physical characters means it's a color, then extra it's softness. Okay, then whether it is a sandy type or a rock type. Okay, like this. And the next chemical means like say which salts are present in the soil, like this. And the biological characters means whether what kind of microorganisms are present in the soil, like this. Okay, so on these two factors, this long-term yielding of a soil capacity depends. Okay, so in order to increase this fertility of the soil, so organic farming come into existence. And in this organic farming, what we use means instead of chemical fertilizers, we use biofertilizers. Bio means what? The fertilizers which are made from biological substances, natural materials. Natural materials means which are made from plant materials and animal materials, or say this microorganisms, like this, right? So here the microbes that can prepare nutrients either from environment or from soil. Okay, some other microbes already we discussed about rhizobium. What's the use of rhizobium? This rhizobium from atmosphere, it absorbs nitrogen and converts that into nitrites and supplies them to soil. Correct. In the same way, some of the microbes, they have the capacity to prepare this fertilizer by taking the nutrients either from soil or from environment. Okay, so what we call such microbes means we call them as microbial cultures, or we call them as biofertilizers, or farmer or eco-friendly fertilizers. Eco-friendly means these fertilizers, they do not harm the soil, or they do not harm the air, soil, atmosphere, water, like this. Okay, so they're completely harmless. Okay, that's why we can call them as eco-friendly fertilizers, right? And these fertilizers refer two types. They are nitrogen fixates. Nitrogen fixates means they especially meant to develop nitrogen content in the soil. And what's the next one? There is phosphorus moralizers or solubilizers. With the help of this, we can apply, or we can supply what? say this phosphorus to the soil, right? Okay, so these are the two types of biofertilizers, and here you can find this picture, see, biofertilizers. So these are the different types of biofertilizers are available in the market, and the farmers can use all these biofertilizers, and they can improve the fertility of the soil without causing damage to the soil or the environment. Got it? And with this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you. Have a nice day.